I'm the District Attorney for Essex County. I'm here with Chief Gray and members of his command staff. First, let me say thank you all for your patience last evening. As you can imagine, when an event takes place at 6 p.m. and we're all looking for answers, I know you had lots of questions last night. The public had lots of questions. But we thought that everyone would be better served by getting as many preliminary facts as we could and then putting it out today, obviously with an eye toward being as transparent as we can given the circumstances. Last evening, shortly after 6 p.m., 3 North Andover police officers went to 125 Phillips Brook Road in North Andover. The purpose of going there was to serve a court-approved restraining order. The subject of the restraining order was 28-year-old Kelsey Fitzsimmons. Ms. Fitzsimmons was an off-duty North Andover police officer. She has approximately a year and a half on the job here with NAPD. 3 North Andover police officers were on the scene, one of whom was a supervisor. When one of the officers was escorting Ms. Fitzsimmons during the service of the court order, an armed confrontation took place. As a result of that armed confrontation, one of the responding officers discharged their weapon, which struck Ms. Fitzsimmons once. She was immediately given medical care. She was med-flighted to a Boston hospital, and as of this morning, we're told she is in stable condition. The officer that discharged the firearm is a veteran officer, having served over 20 years with the department. Now, as you can imagine, we're only about 16 hours out from this incident. There are still lots of questions. There's an ongoing investigation. Currently, the investigation is being done by Massachusetts State Police detectives assigned to my office at the Essex DA's office under the direction of Captain John Costa and Detective Lieutenant Robert DeMeo. There are lots of interviews to be done. There are lots of pieces to be put together. There's lots of things that remain unanswered, but for now, we wanted to make sure that the people of North Andover and across the Commonwealth know as much as we can give out at this time, being as transparent as we can. We also know that serving restraining orders, court-approved restraining orders, are sometimes some of the most dangerous duties that police officers uncover, no matter who the object of that order is. Chief Gray has been a great partner with us, not only through this investigation, but through many others. I wanted to make sure we give the chief an opportunity to speak, particularly about his officers, and sometimes we worry deeply about the wellness of our police officers as well, particularly in difficult circumstances. So they're in our thoughts. Chief Gray.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Just some quick words on what happened. It's an ongoing investigation, like the DA said. There's not much we can talk about. We're concerned for all the officers on duty and off duty, and we're just going to monitor and hopefully get some results.
Okay. We will be able to take some questions, and to the extent that the chief and I are able to answer them, we will. As you can imagine, over the next few days, we'll probably be getting more answers. There are lots of interviews being done. State police detectives worked well into the night last night. We spoke with them this morning. They're already at it this morning. So to the extent that we can answer some questions, we will. Some we may have to defer for a little bit more time. We're going to make sure that what we do give you is accurate information rather than speculation. I know you all appreciate that as well. So having said that, we can take some questions and we'll do the best we can to answer.
Was the off-duty officer armed, and what precipitated the on-duty officer to fire at her?
So what we're saying is accurately that there was an armed confrontation. In terms of the details of that and how that came to be, it was during the service of the court-approved restraining order. But the very granular details we're waiting to speak on until we get the interviews back from our state police detectives who are speaking with the North Andover officers that were involved.
How about the restraining order? Can you tell us at all the nature of that? Who was it for, et cetera?
So I can't comment on who the plaintiff was, but I can tell you that a court order, there are check boxes. Oftentimes it's stay away from, no contact, and turn over all firearms. So the restraining order was a standard 209A filed by the plaintiff and served by the North Andover
Were
officers.
the officers going to retrieve her weapon?
Pursuant to the court order, one of the standard boxes to check is retrieval of any firearms in the home. That's standard operating.
Can you say where she was struck?
No, I'm not going to comment on the medical condition at all.
Can you say how many people were in the house at the time, including Ms. Fitzsimmons?
I can tell you that there were 3 North Andover police officers. In terms of other people in the house, until I get the full reports back, I won't be able to tell you how many and who they were.
Is there any body camera footage of what happened?
We're actually looking to see what camera footage is available. I have not seen any, and I don't have any reports on any.
Do North Andover police officers typically have body cameras on when they're executing these court orders?
No, the North Andover Police Department does not use body cameras at this time.
Can you speak at all to her mental health, and also was this related at all to her efforts to have her weapon was taken away from her, and then she had sought relief in the courts, and I think it was Friday she dismissed that. Is this related to that at all?
So the scope of our investigation right now is the actual armed confrontation. I'm sure that there'll be further information coming out. I'm sure that North Andover PD will be looking at that as well. But in terms of commentary on her mental health, I'm not comfortable speaking on that at this time.
Can you talk at all about the efforts that she sought to have her weapon given back to her? Can you speak to that at all? What that situation was and why?
So, Chief of Personnel Matter?
Personnel matter,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Chief, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it is a personnel matter, so we aren't going to speak about anything like that. Yes, ma'am.
I know you guys are pros, but can you speak about how you're all feeling today? Not just the 3 responding officers, how you're feeling? What's the mood?
I mean, it's a critical incident, and like a lot of critical incidents the police officers deal with, we all have our own way of, getting through it, whether together or by ourselves, and this is no different.
Chief, she was a member of the department. Did she know the officers who were coming to her home? Did everyone know each other?
I would assume so, yes.
Can you talk about her as an officer on the department, what she was like, why she wanted to become a police officer?
At this time, I'm not comfortable talking about that sort of thing.
How about in terms of charges? I mean, will there be some charges at some point in time? And I would ask you just one other thing. That we have reports that she may have been involved in an incident in Maine at an Airbnb over the weekend, and then was involved in an accident on the Maine Turnpike. Is there any truth to that? Can you speak to that at all?
Not specifically as to what occurred prior to what we've spoken about already, but what the lead up to it certainly would be something that would be part of the investigation. And you had a first part.
I just wondered about charges. At what point in time would she be charged? Would you wait till she came out of the hospital? Do you know how long she might be there?
So we don't know how long she'll be treated. The good news is that she's in stable condition. In terms of charging, there will be meetings between our state police detectives and our senior trial team. We've already met this morning. As of right now, I can't tell you what those charges will be, except to say that our senior trial team will be working with the detectives, and to the extent that charges will come forward, they will fit what took place here.
Well, I'm sorry, but in terms of what's her status with the department right now? She's suspended, administrative, et cetera?
Right now, it's on administrative leave.
How about the other officers? Are they on leave?
Again, this is like the DA said, they're 16 hours old, so we're assessing the other officers, and we're going through our policies and determining what sort of action is going to be taken as far as time off or any sort of other methods.
Yeah.
Are you able to say how long she's been on administrative leave?
I think we'll just leave it that she was on administrative leave. And I also
At
just...
the time of the incident, she was on administrative leave?
She was, we'll just say she was on administrative leave, and that leave obviously is now going to be extended. So we'll just leave it at that. I do want to make a comment, though. There's been 3 questions, and I think that all of them are very good questions when it comes to officers' mental health. And think about the things that police officers have to face. Now you take a look at the circumstances that are known to us that occurred in this particular incident. We worry deeply about the mental health of our officers. I know Chief Gray does worry greatly about his officers, as do I. I was a 32-year police officer myself. I know the struggles that the officers have, and I appreciate the questions, and I just don't want it to be lost in the swirl of the headlines that these are humans. These are police officers that have to make quick decisions, that use of potentially using deadly force. This is something that should not go unnoticed or unappreciated by the public. So I appreciate your questions on that.
Is she under guard at the hospital?
So we never comment on if somebody's under guard or what the security is at the hospital. That's just something that we routinely do not comment on.
You know, I sort of asked this question before, and you may have said that you couldn't answer it, but related to her weapon, did she have it in possession at the time of this or not? I know you said that the boxes are checked, and
Yep.
you know did she have has her weapon been returned to her? Yeah.
So we're not commenting on the weapons. All I can tell you is that on the order, there was the check box if there were weapons home to retrieve them, which we would have done if they were there. So, all right. All right, well, thanks, everybody. Again, I appreciate your patience last night and coming back today. I know this is a matter of great public interest, and we wanted to make sure that rather than come out last night and not really have much for you, we'd rather than be expeditious about it, we wanted to make sure that we were accurate and factual. So to that extent, I want to thank all of you for coming back. So I appreciate it.